Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Toon review, where it is Manchester City 5, Newcastle United 0, the review. And unfortunately, it didn't go our way today. That's an understatement. However, it's not all doom and gloom on this show tonight. We do have to celebrate with Danielle for Manchester United's defeat last night. She's very pleased with that.
Get up there.
And there was some, believe it or not, we are going to go through some positives of today's game as well, because there was some, i.e. A certain number 9 and a certain number 15 coming back into the fold. We will talk about some of the players as well who, well, let's face it, need to be gone, aren't good enough. But listen, it was a lesson today of just how far we have to go to get to Manchester City's level. Their passing was fantastic. I do feel in the second half we stood off them too much, but by the by, this is the team that Newcastle United went with today. Few surprises in there. We went with Dubravka, a back four of Kraft, Lascelles, Byrne and Target. Midfield, Longstaff, Bruno, Joe Linton and Miggy, Maximan and Wood up front. But notice number 9 and number 15 are back on the bench. Man City, well, they went with a pretty strong side, to be honest, given what had happened to them during the week. Edison, Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte, Zinchenko, Rodrigo, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Grealish, Sterling and Jesus. I thought Zinchenko was absolutely superb for them today. And, definitely a player that we can possibly look at in the future as being a tremendous signing if we ever went for him. Danielle, it was first 5 minutes, we expected Man City to come out and go like a freight train at us, which they did, but we held off. And I thought we got back into the game in the first half. First half an hour, we were certainly in it. And then Chris Wood misses that simple header.
Well, do you know something, right? I don't think, as much as it was a learning kind of situation for us to see just how far the gap is between us and Manchester City, it's things we didn't, like for me, we didn't really learn a lot. We knew exactly, that Chris Wood is not a good player for us. He's just not. Like, that's nothing new to me. I haven't learned it today because of Manchester City. He's just not good enough. Should Callum Wilson have started? Perhaps he should have done. But hey, I'm not Eddie Howe. I don't know his fitness situation and how many minutes he's got under his belt. I don't know that. But yeah, no, like, I know I'm optimistic and I always tend to go for points, but I knew it was going to come. Like the years ahead of us, 7-10 years ahead of us in terms of our rebuild. And the reason that they can field a squad like that they fielded today, despite what's happened, is because they've got the depth that we just don't have.
It's fair enough. Kath says heads over hearts. We need to get rid of even those we love. Wood, both Longstaffs, Miggy, Lascelles, Maxi. It's killing me, and so many more, says Kath.
I think I think we have to be realistic with this. I think, is it realistic to say we're going to get rid of 8-9 players in the summer? No, it's not realistic.
It's not.
Murdad himself said on the 8th of October, the day after the takeover, that it's slow and steady. So
he did say that.
The squad. In total, it's going to take a number of years for us to get there. So I think people need to cool their expectations in terms of what's going to happen this summer. I think we'll bring in some great players, and finger crossed we do, but it's not going to be an overhaul.
No, it's not. And I think Eddie's made a point of saying that as well. I mean, he's come out and said we're not going to blow the bank in the summer, which is interesting. Alex, the first few goals, though, I mean, they were poor, weren't they? I mean, Cancelo, sorry, twice before that had sneaked in at the back post and missed a couple of opportunities, and then we didn't learn from that. We got caught out for the first goal. He snuck in again. And obviously, a lovely little header across to Sterling. But Man City have scored so many goals like that this season. Second goal, corner swung across. Gundogan clearly worked on in training. Gundogan hits the shot. Dubravka should have done better for me. He should have held that ball. But then, obviously, they go and score. And, the third goal should never have been a corner anyway, should it? Because, again, poor defending. I mean, Lascelles seems to cause all this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The cross came in. You could see Dubravka under it. Yet Lascelles heads it away. This is where we are struggling, and that's why so many people say we need a new centre back.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be positive and honest to the context of the game, yeah, he did poor. Generally today, but I feel like for him, you could see some improvements in his game with his line, with his movement looked a little bit better, a little bit scared on the ball. 4 long balls as well. He released Murphy in the second half. A few improvements, and I do think with some, he's obviously been coached, and I think he's going to be useful for us against sort of the bottom 10 sides next season. It's a bit unfair to throw him in against City and judge him too harshly, but I don't think he is good enough to play against sides of this quality. Absolutely not. But can we use him in the cups and against the easier games? Yeah, definitely. But yeah, he got caught out positionally a lot. When Trippier was caught in his one-on-ones late on as well, he wasn't sure, do I go, do I not? This is where we see Shah's positioning and awareness so much better as a right-sided centre-back. Lascelles wasn't quite sure. I mean, you could see he was trying, fair play, but they were just so, I mean, credit to City, their movement. You just don't know what you're supposed to do, especially when you've got centre-backs and full-backs making runs of strikers. It's hard. And, in the context of the game, yeah, he was poor, but I could see improvements from him. And he's not going to have to play against Man City all the time, is he? So, yeah
that's true, yeah. I mean, Billy, what did you think of Lascelles' performance today?
If I'm perfectly honest, I didn't think he was that bad.
Right.
I thought he made 2 or 3 mistakes, but no more than anyone else did. I thought at times he made a couple of good last-ditch tackles. I actually thought he was right to clear the ball from that cross because there was kind of doubt whether Dubravka could get there or not. And when in doubt, you get the ball out. But it was confounded by the corner, which wasn't his fault for the goal. It was more Kraft's. But yeah, I didn't think that Lascelles was that bad personally. I've seen him play a lot worse than that, put it that way.
No, I mean, where did it all go wrong? I mean, was it the midfield?
The problem for us was we didn't have enough players to cover where their dangers were coming from. I was saying about playing Murphy on the right hand side, playing on the left, playing Max on the right. But wherever you play Maxi, they're going to come at you from because Cancelo can do it, Zinchenko can do it, and you can't mark them all with Maxi in the side. Unfortunately, you've got to have him in there for some offensive kind of danger. But there's too many dangers coming from Man City for us to be kind of safe wherever we go. So we'll kind of be on the 8 ball from the start.
Godfather says, great watch along, Paul. We looked a division apart, sadly. Christopher says, expected to lose today, but conceding those last 2 goals in stoppage time made me rather angry. We should have just shut up shop and accepted 3-0, but completely folded like a pack of cards. It was disappointing that we conceded those 2 late goals as well, Danielle.
Yeah, it was. It was painful. Those last 2 were just ridiculous. Sorry, the cat's just choking. She's fine. Yeah, no, I mean, it made it out to be something it wasn't, but you have days like this, and you do, and, especially Manchester City, who all knew they were going to be in some kind of fettle after what happened through the week, and they were. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be overly negative about players today. I really don't. I think we know where we are in terms of the squad, about who's not good enough to be in the squad. I think that's loud and clear. all the way along. So I don't think it's particularly helpful to go in and start booting people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was painful, but we move on. We've achieved our objective. Thankfully, we're staying in the Premier League again. Looking forward to a positive summer. Go to Arsenal the week tomorrow and see what we can get from that.
Exactly. Trulls is not angry because I expect us to lose, but very disappointed in the way we lost. Alex, do you agree with that?
No, not really. I think that Eddie brought on the players he wanted to bring on, and he went, right, we'll see what we can do. We won't just shut up and go 5 at the back. He wanted to keep shape and give the lads a test. Try the formation out. Wilson's back. Trippier's back. And Trippier got caught. He was just high up because that's the way we try and build our attacks with Trippier in the team. And he couldn't win a foot race with Grealish. Okay. I'm not bothered by that. We tried it. It didn't work. It's Man City. What's the trade-off? Do we just sit back in the final half an hour and close it to 3-0? Or do we keep our shape, bring on our the people coming back from injury and sort of have a little go, test it out a bit, give them some match intensity. Obviously it's bad for the goal difference because now we're one behind Southampton now. And obviously that could change us sort of one place in the table at the end of the season. So we do need to be careful of goal difference. But I'm not that bothered. I think it was either going to be...
We didn't do Liverpool a favour with goal difference today.
No, definitely not.
But that'll please you, given your Liverpool rant the other night, Alex. I'm sure you're delighted about that.
I'm not interested. I'm not really interested in who wins it. I'm more interested in us progressing. But yeah. Definitely.
Susan's in the house. Mrs. Toon Review. Good evening, everybody. Evening, Suze. Ian says, I read Paul, Alex, the mighty Billy and Danielle. Louis, hello. And again, regards to Louis and his family for his mum passed away, so we wish him the very, very best. Majestic says, even though frustrating afternoon, Wood still should have put ASM's assist away. Again, Mr. ASM has brought up a lot of conversation, but I think he did all right today. I mean, he gave the ball away once in the first half. He passed it down the line and it went to Raheem Sterling, I think. But apart from that, I think he was the only one that really, went at them. I mean, his shooting still was abysmal. It's something he's got to work on. But Billy, I was quite impressed. I mean, he was the only one that created any threat.
Yeah, he created a great chance for Wood, which should have been put away. He was our only danger until Wilson came on from an attacking point of view. And that's what he's in the side for, to cause trouble for the defence. People are going to pick out his tracking back, but that's not what he's in the side for. And I thought he had as far as Newcastle United players go, probably our best player on the day, I thought.
Yeah. Big question is, Danielle, would you have started Callum Wilson?
Yes. But then, as I said earlier, look, I don't know how many minutes Callum Wilson has at the moment under his belt. I really don't. Yes, if he was fully 100% confident of fit during the 90 minutes, I would have put him on 100%. I would, but I look like I'm not a manager, so.
Facebook. Somebody on Facebook loves you, Danielle.
Oh, I love you too.
Vortex says, hey guys, great coverage today, Paul. The result is what it is. Onwards and upwards, bring on the Gooners.
Exactly.
Jimmy, the West Ham fan, says it's City. They can do that to anyone on the day.
Of course they can.
Yep. Evening people, shocking display with Sean Longstaff playing American football. He was like a linebacker the way he was backing off and running. Listen, I think we have to be perfectly honest here, Alex, and say that Sean Longstaff, he's just not good enough. He really isn't. He's had 2 chances now to shine. He had the chance against Norwich. He didn't do anything in that game. And he's had the chance today against City, albeit a lot better opposition. But again, I think he had 1 touch in the second half. Yeah,
obviously the quality of the opposition doesn't help, but he just wasn't doing the basic things right at all. He wasn't on the same page as Bruno in a lot of times, or Miggy. Specifically as well, when Maxi was standing out wide for the counter and Cancelo was doing his funny underlaps, Maxi every time was shouting and pointing, underlap. I can't track the underlap. I have to stay here. There's the underlap. He's shouting to Joe Linton and to Longstaff, and they let him go time and time and time again. Longstaff just wasn't, he wasn't listening to certain instructions. Maybe I think he's a little bit more. I think he's a bit better when Shelby's in the side, because Shelby's quite good at standing at the base and shouting out instructions. But I think positionally got a bit lost. Possibly Bruno not with English floating around doing his bits. He did look a bit lost. There was a couple of good moves sort of for a 5 or 10 minute spell in the first half, but then it just wasn't anything there really. Joe Linton, it didn't help. Joe Linton wasn't at the races either.
No.
I was very surprised how much space Gundogan, had outside the box.
Yeah, just driving.
It was just ridiculous. I mean, sometimes he was standing there thinking, God, he actually got a shock. I think he kept looking up thinking, whoa, how much space have I got here?
Did anyone see Joe holding his foot? Kept holding his foot quite a lot through the game.
He did, yeah, he did.
I think it happened early on in the match. I think he got was he just trod on by accident? I don't know, but it certainly was causing him a bit of jip. I don't think Matt Targett played particularly well today either. I think he was a little bit off. I think there was a few players off. I mean, Emil Kraft, I think he did okay, but they were targeting him, Billy. They were targeting Emil
Kraft quite well,
all the time. But I think it was clear where they thought they would get the best look, Billy, and that was down our right hand side, their left.
Yeah, and considering that, I thought Kraft did okay. Obviously, he was at fault for the third goal. Was it corner third goal? But apart from that, I thought in general play, I thought he played quite well. Grealish really was there, as far as I could see, that their least potent attacking threat, and that was down to Emil Kraft. And I thought he had a good game, and obviously he was helped by at times Miggy coming back and helping him. But yeah, I thought Kraft was quite solid. Target was getting pulled in too much, I felt. And then when Cancelo wasn't underlapping, when he got pulled in, he got it overlapping, he was stuck, and I just felt he wanted to be in two places at once. But that's it with Man City. To play against them potently and stop them, you've got to go man to man on every single one of their players. We haven't got the players to do that.
Very true. XFC Florida, thanks for your $10 super chat. Saying, in fairness, most of the lads were knackered in the final minutes of the game after all the defensive work they did. Zishan Ahmed, thank you for your $8.99 super chat. He says, not too disappointed. City could have done that to any team. Glad to see Trippier and Callum back. Need to start Callum next game. We can get 6 points from our last two games. I do believe that we can actually get the 6 points from the last two games. Barbara says, hi, Paul, Danielle, Stato and Billy. It was poor, sure, but I think it was a big mistake not starting Wilson. Ian says, well, despite what a load of plastic fans say on other channels, I think considering what we cost as a squad, we gave them an effing hard night tonight. Plus the red was a complete melt. I think he says I think that means the ref. Yeah. Hello again, you Bonnie Bunch, says Andrew. Not the 7-0 again, mate, unfortunately. Well, it was nearly 7-0, but the wrong way around. We looked way more threatening with Trips and Wilson on the pitch. I agree with that. We did. Matty said, could not believe Wood missed that header. He let it hit him in the face and land at the keeper's feet. Longstaff, Wood, Almiron and Lascelles should never wear a black and white shirt again if we want to improve. Seattle Geordie says, good evening all. I love Eddie, but this drives me nuts. Why does he not sub or leaves it too late? Could have used all our subs in the second half. I must admit, I expected a change at half time. I did. I did
hear you mentioning that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what did you expect? Like a Wilson sub or something? Or...
Possibly Wilson coming on, yeah. Just to give us a bit of, fresh impetus up front, a bit of pace. Because we so lack it.
I think the Wilson and Trippier, they both came on at 65 minutes together. I think that was planned by the medical team. I don't think that had anything to do with the game. I think that was just, this is how many minutes we want to give them. This is how they're going to play. It's part of their process. I think the game was gone anyway. Maybe I personally, I would have liked to have seen maybe Murphy for Miggy. I thought Miggy was terrible today. He was too standoffish, which allowed them to keep switching it over, which is why I think Targeton struggled, because Joe Linton and Longstaff weren't listening to go and cover to that hole, and Miggy was backing off so much, and they just kept pinging balls over into that corner. So yeah, I'm surprised Murphy didn't come on a little bit sooner, but I think the other subs were planned based on just recovery,
Yeah.
And you could tell about Miggy early in the game. He had a ball through and he ran, then realised he had no confidence in getting past it. They wanted to just turn around and pass it back in.
So offside
I
as
know.
well for that. Oh
And
my
you
God.
just
offside,
knew.
wasn't
You just knew
Listen,
from then on he was going to be no use.
Yeah, that's something that needs addressing again, is the
Yeah, it
offsides.
does.
I mean, so many times Wood and Miggy again caught offside. I mean, what is it?
Well, they're not
I
good
can't
enough
answer
at the
you.
highest level, are they? They're fine against teams like Palace, and when they're on fire, they can play against Southampton, and they can maybe put up a fight against a Villa. But when we come up against these harder teams, they're not at that level, and that's fine. We can keep them in the squad to play against the bottom 10 teams until we develop over the next few years. But we can't be playing these lads in these games next season. We can't. Absolutely not. Like Lascelles, Miggy, Wood can't be in the starting 11 against the Big Six for
I
any
don't think they
game
will.
next
I
year.
don't think they will.
They can stay in the team and they can play against lesser opposition, and it's a slow rebuild. But yeah,
They must practice They must practice trying to stay on side. Surely, I mean,
you'd think.
Well, you would think. I just don't get it.
Eddie Howe's very famous for his drills. Like, they're all over YouTube in his training videos. He's he does a lot of work with offside traps offensively and defensively. He was big into that at Bournemouth, and I'm sure it's developed a lot more up to now. So yeah, they will definitely know this. They'll be aware of this. Yeah, and part of it, like the Miggy's offside, wasn't because City did anything magical. He was just really offside, just didn't pay attention, which is a shame. Woods were a bit closer. Fair enough, he tried. But...
Darren says 7 months of money versus 14 years. We are miles behind, and hopefully it will bring a few fans back down to earth over next season's expectations. Man City are light years ahead of us.
Great. Couldn't
Well
agree
said.
more.
I don't think anyone thought we would challenge Man City, though, but I mean...
I don't know, Billy. I don't know.
Our target's going to be a little lower than that, I imagine. Yeah. A lot lower.
I think we needed them to have a shocker, and we needed like Shelvey playing, we needed Wilson playing, and we needed them to have a poor day, and then we might have got something. But how it rolled out and who we had available, definitely not.
I mean, it frustrates me. It frustrates me today because I thought we stood off them too much in the second half. I don't know about you, but and I said this last week against Liverpool. I thought, we give them too much respect in Liverpool when we stood off them a bit, and I think Eddie Howe, related to that in what he said about the game, and then all of a sudden, we come against Man City, and it's kind of the same thing. Second half especially. First half we pressed them, but second half we went into a little bit of a shell.
Well, I think that's the point.
Danielle,
we did all that. We did all that pressing and not respecting them, and yet we were still 2 down.
Yeah.
So that might have been something to do with it.
Midfield
it just
didn't
frustrates me when, the midfield was non-existent second half. They just passed the ball through us.
Oh, they were tired. Joe Linton still looks injured, man. I refuse to believe he's putting these performances in. Like, I think he can do better than that. I think he's injured. I really do. And I think Longstaff just played at his level. And that was that. And Bruno was a bit tired and was on a yellow. So that's why we had no midfield. And yeah, we didn't press enough in the second half, 100%. But I mean, who do we bring on from the bench in midfield? There were no midfielders on the bench, not a single one. Because Willock and Shelvey weren't in the matchday squad. I'm not quite sure why, but we could have brought on Richie, maybe. I mean, there wasn't another sub.
Yeah. Barbara, thank you very much for your €10 super chat. Thank you so much. Love the show, guys and girl. Thank you very much. Toonza says, where are these 8-9 players getting sold, seeing as they're not any interest in those we want changed? Joel says we need at least 5 players in the summer or we will not go into the top 10. Michael says it has to be realistic to get rid of that many, Danielle. If we have 30 players in our first team squad at the moment, if we don't get rid of 8 or more, there's no room to buy any more. Steve says Wilson, Trippier and Cher should have started. Ease them in rather than put them under pressure when we are chasing the game. Cher was a weird one for me, Danielle, because he looked crippled last week and then suddenly he's on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think Eddie said in his press conference, didn't he, that although he hadn't trained all week, it was good we were going to make a last-minute call on him, which made me think that perhaps he would potentially make the bench. I didn't think he would start. I called and said that Lascelles would be in. Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because if he's fit enough to be on the bench, the argument is, does he start? But then again, like, we see very limited Eddie Howe, comments in terms of the fitness of our players. He doesn't give anything away. It's really difficult to kind of understand what he's thinking and where players are. So we just have to go with what he says and trust him. But yeah, I agree. Hopefully we'll see him against Arsenal, because I don't want to see Lascelles in that game.
Christopher says, did you see Wood's headed chance? He didn't even connect with it properly. It seemed to hit his nose. Sick of people bigging him up now. We have to be honest and say he's not a Toon player.
Who's bigging him up? I've never seen anyone big Chris Wood up.
I can only think of one person.
About that header as well. I do want to talk about that header specifically, and it relates to Maxi. So everybody seems to be under the impression that he should have scored that, right? Everybody seems to say that he should have scored it. He got given that attempt got given 0.2 on XG. That's how much they thought it was of a chance, which translated into Maxi getting 0.1 of an expected assist. So to those trolling me about Maxi's assists, that should have been a goal, and Maxi got 0.1 towards his expected assists. That is a prime example of how he should be on more assists, but it's the way the data is tracked. So that everybody seems to concur that Wood should have scored that, which does Maxi deserve 0.1 of an assist for that? Well, no, obviously not. So
Fantastic
that's a
cross.
prime example. It was a great cross. He got 1 out of 4 crosses. Cancelo today got 0 out of 4. So he actually completed more crosses, the same number of attempts as Cancelo on the pitch. So yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there in relation to the Wood chance. So he actually did play through. He played a ball across goal for Wilson later on as well. Unfortunately, he didn't connect with it, so it doesn't count as anything statistically. Again, another prime example of how you can't just go on expected goals and expected assists, because Wilson didn't touch it. Maxi gets no credit for the work he did building that move and whipping it across the 6-yard box. So yeah. I just thought I'd throw that out there because people are whinging about expected assists. So there you go.
So what did you think, Alex, of the header from Chris Wood?
I think he should have scored it. He's done that too many times. Again, I try to take the pressure off him. I say, look, as long as he holds the ball up and tries to head it a few times, I'll get off his back. And he doesn't do either. He's had a few of those soft headers. He had one against Everton as well. And that is meant to be his strength in his football. I haven't seen it be a strength yet. And it's not good enough. And it's reflecting badly on the players trying to create chances for him as well. I mean, you saw the difference, 20-odd minutes of Wilson compared to Wood. Absolutely night and day difference.
Night and day.
Mm-hmm. Wilson straight in with a back heel flick on. Maxi had space, fewer people on him. Night and day different. I'm very disappointed in Wood there. Especially the header was uncontested as well. There was nobody on him. Completely uncontested. So,
4 yards out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Mount says the board are bound to say that there's no money to spend, so don't get stripped in the transfer market. I still think they will. Or there'll be
I don't think anyone's saying that. They said that there's no money to spend. I'm quoting what Merdad said. Yeah. He said, slow and steady. He said it himself.
Slow and steady wins the race, apparently. Paul Hansen says, evening, we've just outclassed, shows how much further we have to go. It will take time, but at least we have hope for the future. The only players other teams are interested in are the ones we are building around. Tom says, crap performance today, but it's a reality check that this will take time. It is a project. Keith wants to know, what does Howe see in Longstaff? Billy, I'll give that one to you.
Absolutely no idea. Offers nothing. It's all right saying it was against Man City, but the last game he played against the bottom of the table, and he was as shit in that game as he was today. No, not for me.
Yep. Darren says, I think he was right to keep Trips and Wilson on the bench. Defo Wilson with him returning from a muscle injury, especially against a Man City. Maybe if it was a poor team, but great to see them both back. It did, and you saw the runs, Danielle, that Wilson was making. It was just such a difference to see. Like he was making, I was talking to Billy before the show started there, and just saying about, Billy made a point of Chris Wood doesn't make those diagonal runs towards the near post. Callum Wilson did it twice today. Once and once he could have scored. Had he been up to speed, I think he would have scored. He could have got 2 today. But he just mistimed it. But it's so nice to see players making those runs.
Brilliant. So great to see Callum back. We've missed him, honestly, more than I could say. Yeah, it's exciting to see him back, and straight away there was an impact. As soon as he came on, straight away you saw the difference. And to be fair, you could see it in Wood's face when he was coming off. It was almost like resigned to, right, I guess I'm just going to take my place on the bench then, because that's where I'm going to be now.
Yeah.
He looked very, very, very sad when he came off. But then I thought, well, hey, look,
he did nothing in the game.
You've done nothing, so we need to get the main man back on. But I'm excited. I have excitement for Arsenal and for Burnley now that Callum's back, because we're going to score goals. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we will. Zishan, thank you for another £4.49. He says, guys, was Dubravka at fault for the second goal? Also, this one is for Danielle. My brother is a Man United fan and he's not answering my calls since yesterday.
Yeah, you've probably not seen him for a while after yesterday. In fact, it's the worst season in how long? I mean, I love it. I'm here for it.
We may as well, let you have your little moment in the sunshine there, Danielle, about Manchester United.
I just think it's so refreshing to see them fall apart, because do you know what? They're a team of individuals. That's all they are. There's no teamwork going on in that squad at all. And I think somebody said, it might have been Lee said yesterday, it's that Ralph's rubbish. And I'm like, no, it's not the manager, because before it was Ralph, it was Ollie's fault. And then whose fault was it before him? It's them. It's the players that are the problem, and the fans are the problem. They've got these expectations that they deserve to be in the Champions League. They deserve to win everything. It's all silverware, blah blah blah. Reality check. Guess what? You're not. You'll be lucky if you get in the top 10 next season. What you're going to buy for 150 million for the kind of players you want? You're going to buy what? 2 players. That's it. Sorry. Guess what? Eddie's mags are coming through. So if you don't like it, tough. I love it. I'm here for it. Here for it.
Richard says, remember, Man City didn't become world class overnight. It took them 4 or 5 years at least, if I'm not mistaken. Dan says, what I did like, however, was that compared to the last meeting, we had better possession, and we actually had a go. We were shite in conclusion, but the attempt was nice to see. We were out possessioning them in the first half, but then a stat came up 10 minutes into the second half, which had the possession at Man City at 99%, which clearly, Alex, meant that the second half didn't really start our way.
No, not at all. I mean, Chris Wood isn't doing as many pressures as the coaching staff credit him with in press conferences, in my opinion. I don't think he presses as much as people suggest he does. Joe Linton, again, not doing enough. Possibly it's his injury. Sean Longstaff not doing enough. Bruno's on a different planet to everybody else in a positive sense. He's trying things and our lads just aren't expecting it. He's trying 1-2s with people and the receiving players like, what am I supposed to be doing with that? And it was just difficult. It was difficult. The only time anything was happening is when Maxi would drive and win a foul. And when Wilson came on, we got a bit. We needed a midfield change. We needed that game was crying out for the Willock substitution. It was, because we've seen it recently. He comes on and he offers a bit of legs. We were dying for Willock to come on sort of 75, 80 minutes to grab hold of possession a bit more and drive a bit more. And if he could have tried to drive up with Wilson and Maxi as well. We just don't have the depth of quality anyway.
Yeah. Steve makes a good point here. Does Lascelles create doubt with other players? I do think he does. If you look at Dubravka today, he looked all over the place, but he's never looked like that with Cher and Byrne. But when Lascelles comes back, he's flapping at everything today. That's just not him.
Nobody listened to his calls either. Target ignored his call and Lascelles ignored his second call. And
Dan Byrne did it once in the first half as well.
Yeah. I just don't know where that's come from.
Dubravka was there to catch the ball, and the defenders headed them away
as well.
Yeah, he did, and you could see. I think Dan Burn, there was a mix-up, I think, for their corner for when they scored. If you look at Dan Burn, he turned, when Lascelles headed away, he turned around and he was having some sort of conversation with Dubravka. So it was all over the place. And I think that's what Fabian Schär gives you. He gives you that confidence, and clearly he gives that confidence to his goalkeeper. But Jamal Lascelles, and again, a few times today, he brought the ball out of defence and passed straight to Man City players. I think, Billy, you're right. Defensively, he was okay, clear, getting the head in the way and stuff, but he cannot play the ball out from the back. He just can't. Daniel Zimmerman, thank you for 5. What's CHF again? He keeps telling me this.
Swiss francs.
Swiss francs, that's it. Disappointing result, especially with the last 2 goals conceded in extra time. But it is what it is. Next year is going to be different. Yes, Daniel, exactly. Michael's basically give his shopping list to get rid of. Gillespie, Ritchie, Clark, Fed, Hendrick, Gale. There's 6 already. Add Manquillo, Hayden, Longstaff, Shortstaff, and Miggy. Or Murphy. A lot needs to go this summer if we want to make any progress. I thought Murphy did well when he came on today. He played a couple of lovely balls with Murphy. With Wilson. Just clipping it through for Wilson to run on. It was a lovely move for when Wilson got one-on-one, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Lascelles. That was his long ball. I was like, oh my God. He looked up and he played an absolute blinder of a pass. I didn't know he'd got that in his locker. And yeah, Murphy's really tidy. This is what happens with Murphy. He looks great as a substitute. He does that for a few games. Then he works his way into the starting lineup, and then he sort of just goes missing. And then we just got this cycle of Murphy comes on as a sub and has quality, and then it's just a weird cycle. But yeah, everybody had more space. Murphy was fresh and hungry. Wilson was fresh and hungry, and Maxi was giving runs. So that was 3 sort of kind of dangerous players that City had to give respect to and track them properly. We probably should have scored, to be honest.
We definitely should have had one today. There's no doubt about that.
So having 3 confident runners, the difference compared to when it was Fraser Wood is night and day. Having 2 people who could run, like with Maxi there, it was great. I'm excited for Arsenal. I'm really excited for Arsenal. Shelby will be back, Trippier and Wilson.
Indeed. Seattle Geordie, thank you for your $10 super chat. He says, what did you think of Dan Pat Down Burn? I did not know Greco-Roman wrestling was making a comeback in the English Premier League. He was like a friggin' octopus. Lucky another ref would have sent him off.
He did a Joe Linton. That's what he did.
I did think the referee was very lenient with him because how many times did he tell the referee to F off? I mean, to be fair to the referee, he could have been a twat and just turned around and said, right, get off for dissent. He could have got a second yellow. But he didn't. George, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, during the close season, could Alex explain in layman terms what the XG means and how it works? It's all gobbledygook to me. I think it is the gobbledygook. What we'll do is we'll do a show one night, Alex, to explain XG and how it all works, and then give people an idea, because I haven't got an absolute Scooby-Doo what XG means. I mean, people talk about, he was expected to score 2 XG, and I'm thinking, what the hell?
I mean, in shorthand, it's basically how good what sort of quality was the chance? What generally, how often do people score from that position? Yeah. And they check all the data in history. How likely is that chance to have?
Alex, is that your dream job?
I don't go too crazy with the data, but
you've got to remember, Danielle, Alex doesn't see the same as us. He's got matrix things in his eyes. They're just figures coming down. He doesn't see the same.
No, I do. 100%. That was happening to me today. As soon as I saw Maxi lose the ball, I checked, and he got 5 out of 6 dribbles. And I went, they'll talk about the 1. That's all they'll talk about, the 1. 5 out of 6. Once dispossessed, 5 out of 6 dribbles. And I wrote down, because it's just how it works.
Going back to the dissent thing with Dan Burn, that wasn't by any shadow, any way, shape, or form the worst case of dissent today. Anyone see Rafinha?
No, I didn't see it. What happened?
When Ayling got sent off,
no,
he got booked for he got booked for dissent, moaning at the ref for sending him off. Yeah, even though it had gone to VAR, and then for at least 2 minutes, you could see him mouthing right in his face, right in his face, and being dragged away from players.
Was mentioning that in our game as well. So
I do think, for our point of view, I think that's why Kieran Trippier was trying to calm him down, because he obviously realised that Dan Burn was already on a yellow card and could easily have got another one for dissent.
Just got lost in the emotion of it, didn't he? And it
Well,
just
he did. I mean, it's nice to see a bit of passion, actually. Moxie says, evening all, hard to watch today, but in time we'll get there in the end. Before the game started, I was thinking Zinchenko would have had that good of a game and was happy to see him playing, but he had a really good game. He's a tremendous player, him. He was all over the pitch, Danielle, today. He was literally all over.
I'd be in there. Take him away. I mean, he'd never leave City. Why would he? But one day we'll get players like him, because, he did. He had an absolutely fantastic game. I don't know.
He's not strong defensively. We should have really pushed ASM onto that side and had a go at him.
Yeah, I agree.
Pushed him back a bit.
He's always that has been his weak. He's tremendous. I think he's more of a left winger than he is a defender for me. I'd love to see him on the left wing for us. I think he'd do a fantastic
for Ukraine,
job.
doesn't he?
He does, yeah. And if you notice, he kept coming into centre mid during the game. I don't know whether that was deliberate or whether he just sort of floated in there. But it was definitely a few times when it was actually Kevin De Bruyne who would actually cover for him when he was slipping back into midfield. Now, whether that was their original game plan or not, we'll never know. But it was interesting. Kath says, Radio Newcastle said something that resonated. Well done, Eddie, showing the owners exactly where our weaknesses are. Do you think he really set out to do that? I'm not so sure.
Stanley says that.
Exactly.
To be fair.
Stanley says was poor performance, no pressing of the ball. Miggy rubbish. Longstaff went missing in the game. Lascelles rubbish. Definitely need at least 5 players next season. Michael says, never forget Project Big Picture. Masterminded my Liverpool and Man United. That's why I hate them more than Man City, to be honest. I hate City. The fans, the way they play. I hate Guardiola. Something about them just frustrates me so much. That annoying shit chant as well. Come on, City. Come on, City. Pisses me off.
Did you see them all leaving?
Yeah.
Did you see them all? They were about to win the league. Like, literally about to win the league, and they're all like cutting themselves off in the 86th minute.
Yeah, there was.
So what the hell? They missed the last 2 goals.
They're shocking, but some of them are Man City fans. There are a lot of people just buy the tickets and go to the game. Look, I mentioned it once in commentary in the second half. I think it was actually their goal before the corner was taken. You look at all the fans, and they're all there with the phones again. And taking, and they didn't even have Man City colours on or anything. They're just dressed in normal clothes. It's just a farce. It is.
I don't want our club to turn into that.
It's a funny situation because before the takeover, Manchester City fans were rightly labelled as some of the best fans in the country alongside ourselves. Since the takeover, they've been kind of swamped by glory hunters and plastics, and that's probably what you're seeing. They got 30,000 a week in the old Division 3 when they were down there in the late 90s.
Yeah,
they had a great fan base, but that seems to change since takeover.
Yeah,
but I find it very hard to believe that will happen to us because the support that we have, the waiting list for season, it's going to be very hard for these people to get tickets anyway. We could fill out the stadium time and time again. I really hope it doesn't happen because it's wrong in my opinion.
We do more post-match as well. Like when Liverpool finish a match or when we finish a match, there's music, like the Geordie Nana stuff, or the players walk around. There is something to stay for generally. Whereas I couldn't even tell you what City do after the whistle goes.
It's like a transaction, isn't it? It's just like a transaction. There's your win.
Oh, is that what they do?
Wonderwall came on.
Yeah, they play Wonderwall. But one thing I didn't mind, I didn't like seeing was Dwight Gale having a laugh with the Man City players when they were coming off. When you've been beaten like that, save that for out off the pitch in the tunnel, whatever. I think, Newcastle fans would see that type of thing.
He's not going to be playing against Premier League.
I was going to say he's probably
he's not. I know, but I just don't like seeing it when we've been tanked like that. And then you see, Bruno was going around like a raging bull the last 10 minutes of the game. I mean, you could see he was fed up. He was like, I can't believe this is happening. I hate his hair, by the way. I absolutely despise that. What is he thinking? I mean, Bruno, mate, come on. You're better than that. You don't suit blonde hair.
At least he didn't dye it red like Joe Linton did.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
Big Joe dyed his hair red for like a lion. But anyway, whatever. Brian says next season we need to be competing with Wolves, Leicester, City, etc., not the likes of Man City.
Correct.
Agreed. Slow and steady wins the race. John's backdoor says, sorry to hear about that, Louis. Stay strong, mate. Indeed.
Also, can I just say as well, I don't know
Yeah.
if anyone's seen it, but just want to pass our condolences on to Steve Wraith as well, who's had a close bereavement in the family. I think his mum passed away.
Oh, I knew his mum wasn't very well.
He posted something on Instagram earlier saying she'd passed yesterday, so condolences to Steve and his family.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know that. I hadn't seen that. Awful. I knew she'd been ill. I knew she'd been quite poorly, actually, and Steve was running back and forth to the hospital and stuff like that. So condolences, Steve, and stay strong. Awful news. Paul says, when Longstaff runs, it looks like he's towing a caravan. Not sure why or how rates him. Well, I've said before many, many times that I think he could plough a farmer's field because it looks like he's actually pulling a plough behind him. He is so slow. I don't get it. I don't get where his awareness or his speed has gone. It's just disappeared. Mick Lingard, thank you for your £10 super chat, my man. Very kind. He says, not a surprise the result, but hopefully 4 or 5 quality players in to make a real improvement. Let's hope so. Foster says, could have done with Shelvey. Did any explanation come from Eddie Howe about the man, about where Shelvey and Willock were today?
I don't believe so.
Does anybody find that weird?
Maybe they've just picked a knock-up. I don't know. Best case scenario, they've picked a knock-up.
Yeah, best case scenario, yeah. Listen, I'd have Shelvey in the team ahead of Longstaff every second of every day. Up the A1 says, evening all, can't believe missed first 15 minutes of the show. My God, how disgraceful. At the end of the day, it was Man City looking upwards for us to be there in the next few years. There was one comment that I had to laugh at during the watch along that said, I hate watching. No. I hate watching Man City. It's pass. And I thought to myself, I would love to watch a team that pass, and just break down teams by absolutely grinding them down to the bitter earth and then scoring brilliant goals. I had to laugh at that a little bit. There was a few comments
pass, especially not in today's game.
No. I thought they were fantastic today. I'll be honest with you. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I think they're the best side in the country.
They were very professional, Billy, weren't they? You know, the way they just knocked the ball around and kept space, made space, and the little 1-2s and the little triangles. Unbelievable to watch.
I mean, some of Kevin De Bruyne's vision and passing today was absolutely sublime.
That pass was absolutely disgusting. That floated over Lascelles' hairline.
Yeah.
How the hell did he do that?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I remember that one. Len Simmons, thank you for your $8.99 super chat. He says, Paul, Danielle, Alex, Billy, in your opinions, when we get in the top 6, which team will we knock down to 7th?
Well, I was going to say Man United, but they won't be anywhere near that. So... fingers crossed.
Man United is going to be a mid-table
maybe
team by
Tottenham,
then.
because I honestly, my hatred for Tottenham's growing more and more as time passes. I forgot about how much I hate Daniel Levy, you see. That's what it was. And then when I was watching Tottenham, I thought, actually, it's pretty... I mean, obviously, Man United's the worst, but they're a close second to me. Like, I'd love to knock them out completely away from the group. Love to.
Yeah. We've got another $5 from XFC Florida. Thank you very much. He says, blondes have more fun, Paul. I wouldn't know. I haven't been blonde in my life. Stanley says, can't wait to see Elliot Anderson next season. Better than Longstaff.
A good half season, isn't he? Bless him.
Yeah, Geordie Maradona, they absolutely love him down there. You know what? I could see him staying for another year down at Bristol Rovers. I really can. I think Joey Barton will be doing his absolute utmost to get him on loan again next season.
Here's a question. Now that season's finished and he's a homegrown player, can he play for us for the rest of the season?
Yes.
Get him in next game.
There were a few people talking about on Twitter about should he play. I think he should play versus Burnley.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in.
Imagine.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? But yeah, you're right, Billy. Because he is homegrown, he can play.
Good question, Billy.
Which is really interesting to see if he does, if Eddie does bring him. But look, what a performance from Bristol Rovers. You know, they needed to win 7-0, and they went and won 7-0
Fantastic.
with Elliot Anderson getting the seventh to get them up. You couldn't write it, and they absolutely love him down there. You know, they've got a song about him, the Geordie Maradona. You know, they were singing for him to stay. I mean, you've got to say well done to him for
funny. And
just
the Bristol
incredible.
Rovers official tweeted, "Our players will not be going out drinking," and then everybody was posting videos of the players all out drinking.
All out drinking. Brilliant. It was mad, wasn't it? They weren't going to stay in last night. No way. Ryan says Bruno couldn't play at his best with that yellow early on. I mean
that was Miggy's fault. He had to clean up Miggy's mess, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a terrible tackle, though, in fairness, wasn't it?
It was. It was class, so I loved it.
Chopped Grealish in half. Mike Grealish didn't make the most of it, did he? I mean, he didn't make anything of it. He just sort of, I think he rolled about 7 times off the pitch, and then, I said in commentary that it looked like he was like lying in a catalogue pose, get a few pictures from the press, and then got his arse up and back onto the pitch again. Unbelievable, man. Steve says it seems funny how we are now safe and the team has gone off the ball. Listen, I expect Danielle next week against Arsenal. I expect us to go out and perform, because I think that's what Eddie Howe will want, and I think the team owe that to the fans that travelled down there today.
Yeah, and I think they will. I think they're aware of that. I don't think we're at that stage at the moment where they've got the flip-flops on and all of that. They know how, what a difficult season we've all been through. And I know takeover has changed everything, and that's wonderful. However, it has been a difficult season for everybody this season. We are so lucky that we're in the position now that we are in, but that doesn't mean that the players have a right to just sit back and chill. And I don't think they will, and I don't think Eddie would expect them to. So I expect a performance. 100%. Plus, Stato's come to the game, aren't you? So you're the lucky charm. You never know.
Hopefully we get Trippier and Wilson starting. I genuinely think we can beat them if Shelvey and Willock haven't disappeared somewhere. I think we've got the tools, definitely.
You know what it is, Alex? There is a whole host of people coming to that game to meet you. They know you're going. They can't wait to meet. So get ready for a lot of photographs, mate.
Hopefully we get 3 points as well.
Indeed. Michael says Target had no help at all from ASM, obviously, but I agree. Perhaps his worst performance in a Toon shirt. Still love him though. Look, he's allowed enough to go on, Alex. I'm
sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to mention this because so many people. Right. So Maxi was standing out in the space in anticipation of us winning the ball to start a counter attack. That was clearly his instruction to not follow the underlap of Cancelo, because every time Cancelo made the run, Maxi pointed and shouted and let him go. So Maxi knew he was doing it and chose not to follow him. Now, he's not an idiot. He knew he was making the run and he chose not to follow him because of an instruction of some kind. He's there as the counter-attacking outlet. He's standing there on purpose. It was the job of Longstaff or Joe Linton or whoever was in the cover rotation space to go and fill that gap. Maxi was trying to cover wing runs, like overlapping. He messed one up like in the 85th minute. I've written down Maxi switched off to wing overlap, needs to concentrate. Once he missed it. But I think that was an instructional thing. And yeah, it was tough for Target to deal with, but it was the tactic, and it worked somewhat with Wilson. We got up the pitch a few times.
I mean, I've seen a few comments blaming some people blaming Maxi for the first goal, saying he was marking Cancelo, and then suddenly he stopped. He just stopped running with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's in two minds, isn't he? His instruction is to put yourself in a position where you can start a counter attack. But if you can mark at the same time, it's a really tough role he's playing right now. And Man City capitalized on that because they know that is our outlet. And they have the perfect player to hit us there in Cancelo, who is basically a winger, who is a striker winger who can also play fullback at a world-class level. I think he's the best fullback in the league. I think he's bonkers. So that wasn't Maxi. I'm pretty sure the instruction was to shout out, "There's the underlap. Somebody go cover that."
Interesting. Ryan says, how come out after the end of the game and said that Willock is out for the rest of the season?
Oh, did he? Didn't see that.
I didn't see that either, I have to say.
Sure. That means he has picked up a knock, which is good.
Clearly, yeah. Aditya says, Paul, I think Newcastle fans should know the current level at the moment. It is not better than what Man City had in 2005. It took 6 years for them to win the first league title. Aditya, we've said a million times tonight that we know where we are. And I think it's only a few fans that really sort of get carried away in the moment. And you can't really blame them for the last 14 years that we've had to put up with. Finally, we get a bit of ambition and a bit of passion for the club and actual owners who want to take the club forward and win things. So, I don't actually blame those fans for getting carried away either, because we've had nothing to shout about or no ambition for the last 14 years. So that's always going to be the case. But, we do know where we are.
I think the Emirates takeover was later than that anyway. I think Shinanatra took over about that 2005 time because he brought Ericsson in, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I think the actual Arab Emirate one came a bit later, maybe 2007, 2008.
I thought it was 2008, wasn't it?
2008,
somewhere around that time, yeah. So they went through sort of two transitions. So but what they did was, it was like Danielle said, slow and steady build. They brought in a marquee signing every year, but decent players around them. And I think that's what we need to sort of look at. XFC Florida, thanks for another $5, buddy. Very kind. ASM should absolutely give Alex his jersey after the next game.
Yeah, he should. He should.
I'm
I'd be buzzing if that happened. I'd be buzzing.
I'd prefer it went to a young fan or something who likes him. That would be better.
Oh, will you stop being so bloody nice,
come
man?
on, Alex.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Alex,
You've well stuck him down your top and run away. You know
You are
would.
a young fan, Alex.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Sean Taylor said in the comments, but Ian doesn't agree with him. I don't know what he said, but interesting. Dan says, our movement and speed is abysmal. You really notice it against teams like City. Need more youth for sure. You know what frustrates me more than anything, guys, is the bloody throw-ins. I'm sick of us winning throw-ins, and then nobody freaking moves. We just stood there. It's so annoying.
Because we have one throw it up to Chris Wood and hope he gets a flick onto it. But he don't jump, he just stands there. I mean, he was
I love that impression, Billy.
He just stands there. He just stands there. The twat.
He does.
Well, I know.
Headers were very
I know
cool.
that. Yeah.
Oh, it's just the impression, so it made me just laugh.
Sean says, Dummett signs a new contract, yet never plays. I thought Target needed a rest. He has played every game. Matthew says, I know Miggy has improved a lot lately, but he was terrible today. See, improved a lot, has he? Has he really improved a lot?
Better. He's been better than he has been.
Yeah, he scored a brilliant goal against Palace, but, he did give that sign that he was playing a little bit better, but then he's gone totally off the fox again. I don't know. Tony says it was not a mistake starting Trips and Wills. We are safe, and we need to look forward to next season. We are playing arguably the best team in the world. We will probably lose. Football Star says, Paul, good evening. I want to say that Chris Wood had many chances to score for us. He needs to be sold out in the summer transfer window. He doesn't give us any benefits throughout the season. Indeed. Frank doesn't like Miggy. He's always crap, apparently. Aditya says, Paul and Alex fans are moaning about the ref. I thought he had a very good game, to be honest. He made right decisions.
I think he played into City's hands a little bit there. He was disencouraging strong contact and aggression, which obviously suits Man City to a T. I don't think Byrne did anything wrong in that little scuffle either. I think just as an overall how we ref the game suited City. I think there were many situations where he was just letting things. He was blowing for things that were just, there wasn't any glaring errors, I don't think. But I mean, it's nice. We've not had any weird VAR stuff recently. It's been pretty calm. But yeah, I think his style of reffing helped City.
I mean, this is a good point by Frank. Man City put 4 past Real Madrid. Let's not forget that. So, we only conceded 1 less than Real Madrid, although Real Madrid did score 3. But here
we could have, really, couldn't we?
Well, we could, yeah.
I mean, the XG has it at about 3-1-ish. because we should, the stats suggest that they think that Wilson should have scored that goal and Wood possibly should have scored his goal. So the XG comes out at about 3-1 to Man City. So 5-0 flatters them a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Frank says scrap the offside rule altogether and gives VAR one less thing to look at. Yeah, well, it would help Miggy and Chris Wood. That's a certainty. Jack says, even and all, City were a great example today of what we can achieve within the next few years. I was optimistic as many today for a result, but City's performance hopefully emulates our future. Yeah, that's a sensible way of looking at it. Tony says, yeah, we should have just gone hell for leather, Paul, and pressed them second half. I just didn't understand the second half, Danielle. I didn't understand. I didn't understand what we were trying to do by sitting off them so much.
I felt like we were scared of them. I felt like we didn't know what they were going to do next. So we just stood off and waited for them to do something, and then we couldn't do anything with it, obviously. I just don't think we came out second half. Bar when the two lads came back in the 65th minute, and then we woke up a little bit after that time. But I don't know, I just felt like they were just outclassed us in every area and every way. So,
Adam says it's okay. Just look at it from the perspective that you guys are the richest club in the world by far. You guys will kill it soon. Well, thank you, Adam.
Well, I did feel better after the game. Once I sat with me Alexa and asked her about 15 times who's the richest club in the world, just to make myself feel better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Ken says Wood's problem is he's so slow to get any chance of getting the ball. He's got to be beyond the centre halves. He just hasn't got the pace. He's just not that kind of player. And I'm struggling to find out what player that Chris Wood actually is, to be fair. Foxy says Dubravka getting slated is shocking too. Man of the match last week. Short memory, some people. I agree. And listen, I thought he was at fault. He should have held on to the Gundogan shot. He should have held it. However, what we mentioned earlier was that it seems to be when Mr. Lascelles comes back into the team, causes all sorts of havoc. Nobody knows where he's going to be or what he's going to do. His distribution coming out from the back four is nowhere near as good as Fabian Schär. I know Fabian Schär sometimes tries to go for the wonder ball a few times and it goes into this, rosette. But he's much better at bringing the ball out, much more capable, and he's a much better player than Jamal Lascelles. So for me, that's the reason I think that Dubravka was a bit flappy today, because Lascelles just brings that edginess. And it's starting to look like real fact that as well.
Nobody helped him there in the chance you're describing. They had two shots after the Gundogan shot. Nobody moved.
Yeah.
They just all let Dubravka try his best. They just all stood there and watched it. As Longstaff, Joe Linton, and Lascelles all just stood there and watched it.
Apparently, Shelby's out for the rest of the season as well.
Oh dear.
I don't know what's happened there.
No, I've never heard anything, to be honest.
I wonder if they've hurt each other on like a challenge or something, and they've took each other out.
I know. Paul says Lascelles' positioning is terrible, always gets caught out. Shana says people need to stop getting carried away. We were playing the best club team in the world. They scored 4 past Real Madrid at home. Difference is Real have Benzema. We had great chances. Wait next year. Kungle Foxes maybe could have played a 4-4-2. Anything better than Longstaff.
We might as well have done. We might as well have done,
because Longstaff, he didn't do anything. I mean, honestly, you could have driven a bus or a tractor through that midfield today. Man City could have played a tractor at number 7 and just let him. We couldn't. He couldn't have kept up with it. It was shocking. Frank says, why are we buying Wood when I'd rather have had Mitrovic back? Oh, let's not open that can of worms again.
God,
there was one run that Wood made as well, when, I don't know if you noticed that Maxi actually released, he was running through the middle of the pitch, a driving run, and Wood was running to the left. And then 3 City players closed him down and he had to make the pass. So he made the pass left where Wood was running. And then Wood changed his mind.
Yeah, I mentioned that in commentary.
Yeah.
I mentioned that in commentary, Alex, because he pointed to where he wanted the ball, and
Maxi
played it there, and then he went the other way.
And then everybody's like, oh, yeah, Maxi doesn't get any. That wasn't a key pass for Maxi, not an expected assist. Well, if his strike is changing his bloody run direction, like, oh, dear,
it was absolutely crazy. I mean, just give him the ball, and then suddenly, Wood's pointing where he wants it and running that way. So Maxi plays the ball there. Wood changes and goes across.
Yep.
Absolutely shocking
Prime
bit of football.
example of why the stats are bad for the people trying to get it to Wood, because it makes everybody look bad.
Johnny says Chris Wood has to be up there with the worst strikers to ever play for the Toon. Offers absolutely nothing at all. People talking about his hold-up play, trying to defend him, but I'm not having it. Listen, he scored 2 goals for us, right? He scored a good goal at Southampton, and he scored a penalty against Wolves, all right? But he's a terrible footballer. He is one of the worst I've seen up front. He's got no movement. He doesn't jump for a football. That's what really frustrates me, is he doesn't jump.
Go on, Billy, do the impression.
Yeah, there you go. Perfectly put by Billy Trey. He doesn't friggin' move. No. Honestly. Tony says ASM, although lost the ball, I don't remember Miggy creating a single chance. Well, he didn't. Miggy did his normal of turning backwards today, which really did my head in.
Yeah.
Michael says if the ball falls to Joe Linton, it absolutely should have been a goal. Wood should score that, but it was harder chance for him. Probably explains the stats a little.
I mean, Joe Linton would have scored if he hadn't been there.
Yeah.
For certain.
See, if I was Joe Linton, I would have pushed Wood out the way. I would have shoved him out the way. Thought, you're not going to score this, mate. I will. And I would have pushed him out the way. Ryan Sweeney says, I must say that we've done great to end up safe, and fair play to all involved in that respect. But this team has imploded before, and that needs to stop. Tottenham crushed us also. Joe Linton always gets the benefit of the doubt. Oh, I think he's injured. No, he was poor like everyone else, and we need an improvement versus Arsenal. That's simple, says Fox.
How do you know he's not injured? How do you know? We know he's got a groin issue. He's had a groin issue since January.
He was all right in the first half. And then when he got a bit tired and he was holding he was physically holding like his shin and his foot.
He was.
Like, there's a lot of clues there. It's not just a guess.
I genuinely think he's got a groin problem. And I've said all along for a while now that I think come the summer, we'll see him going in for a quick operation to heal whatever it is that's causing him the problem.
I hope he gets it sorted over the summer. Mm-hmm.
Ryan says Wood's finishing is dreadful, but so is ASM's. He's a liability. He's not a liability. I think, listen, if there's one thing that Maxi needs to improve on, it's running at speed and shooting. Because when he's cutting in and he's getting the opportunities to shoot, he just fluffs everyone. The balloon over the bar, the trickle wide, like 6 miles wide of the post. He can't seem, and I don't know why this is, but he can't seem to cut in and shoot.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, to his credit, he's listening to what people are asking for. He didn't try a shot until the 57th minute. And the phase of play before that was the one he laid off to Bruno, which Bruno fluffed as well. So he waited an hour before he tried to do some things himself, tried to make things happen for other people. And you obviously you want your attackers to try a shot, but yeah, you're right. He does that weird thing every time where he just drives right, low ground shot to the same place every time. He's got to work on that. And then the balloon over the bar, at least it was a different kind of shot, but still you got to try and hit the target.
He just doesn't seem to be able to balance himself and get over the top of the ball and actually, get a proper foot, go through the football. But when you watch him in the warm up though, he's burying them. It's really frustrating. Foster says, I know this might annoy people, but I think Bruno was awful today.
Well, he was trying to do the work with 3 men, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was quiet. I must admit, he wasn't at his peak. But listen, when you've got Sean Longstaff around you, you're trying to, and possibly an injured Joe Linton. I thought Joe did all right, actually, to be honest. But the first half, but the second half, we weren't
there weren't a lot of passes for Bruno.
No,
there was one second half. There was one second half to Wilson, which was just cut out the last minute by Fernandinho.
Yes.
I think that's a sign.
Had that got through, he was away on goal again.
Because we have a runner on the pitch, Bruno can actually pass.
Exactly,
making runs.
Yeah, that's what I did mention as well. The fact that when Wilson comes on, we've got that option. He's running left, he's running right, he's running central. He's always looking to be on. And one thing about Wilson, he stays on side. He will make them runs and stay on side. Tom says photos on Twitter doing the rounds of Shelby at Euro Disney. I did hear that earlier on, actually.
Oh, really?
So whatever his injury is, he's obviously out now and he's gone on his holidays. At least DSM tries all game. Yeah, a few mistakes. Wood never tries get rid.
He did. He made that what was it, 80 odd minutes in, 81 minutes in, he sprinted after a lost cause that went out for a throw. He worked his arse off today.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think it's a case of Chris Wood not trying, right? I'm not going to accuse him of not trying. I think with Chris Wood he's just simply not a good enough footballer. What he did at Burnley, it worked. The shape they played, the football they played, because it's very much long ball, flick-ons, etc. But for us, it's a very different game, and he needed to step up. He needed to step up that extra level, and he can't. He's not good enough. But I will never accuse him of not trying, because I think, he does try. He clearly does. But he's just, for me, he's not enough. He's not a good enough footballer, Danielle.
No, he's not. I don't think that's. I think we've been saying that, and since we signed him, he's showed for nothing. I mean, yeah, he got a goal in Southampton, and that penalty was a great penalty. However, that's pretty much it, and I expected a lot more from him when we signed him. I think the owners did. Whether we'll sell him, I don't know. Will we keep him as a squad player? Perhaps. It's all very well saying we're going to sell all these players, but we need clubs to sell them too. So
absolutely, yeah. Hi, Paul, Ditchburn, Danielle, Billy, Alex. Wasn't our game, but it was worth but it is what it is. Before the Eddie Howe out starts, take your face for a shite. Can't believe I've actually seen posts like this today. Howe's done what he needed to do and more. Yeah, look, you're always going to get the Howe out brigade as soon as we lose. Or he's not good enough. It's absolutely shocking, to be honest. But these are the same people that will say, if we beat Arsenal next week, he's the best manager in the world. They're so fickle. But you'll always get them at any football club. I mean, God, you still get them at Man City and that. Guardiola needs. I heard them on the radio the other night after they were knocked out in Europe. Guardiola needs sacking. He's got to go. He's got to go. You get them at any club. Wow. But absolutely talking crap. People are already Eddie Howe out after 2 straight losses. They're losing patience with him. No, they're not. They're not proper fans.
Just played Man City and Liverpool, the 2 best club sides in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just so tired of this rhetoric. I'm so tired of this. Newcastle fans, they're so fickle. They want Eddie Howe out. We don't. It's emotion. It's in the moment, in the frustration. It all comes out. This is the way we've been for years and years, and it's not. Yeah. It's just been a learned behaviour. That's how it's been. But we need to start believing that going forward, things will get better and things will improve and we'll get stronger with every transfer window, and the team will embed more and we'll progress more. And I'm just so tired of it. I'm so tired of the tantrums when we lose a game. I'm just so tired of it.
Yeah. Foxy says, ASM not great today, but let's stop this stats nonsense about him. He has 4 assists, more assists than Thiago, Odegaard, same as Ward-Prowse, Mahrez, Foden, Saka, and De Bruyne with only 6.
Shocker. Absolutely not. I've just explained in black and white exactly why. Chris Wood's missed chance gives Maxi 0.1 expected assists when it clearly should be more than that. Maxi could have had a couple of assists today, 100%. He was involved with Wilson, and Wood should have put that away. What? I don't get it. He is our highest rated player on every website today, with a 7.4 on SofaScore. Most productive player with 2 key passes. We could play Maxi Bingo if you really want to. He drew 3 fouls. He won 10 out of 15 duels. 2 out of his 3 aerial duels. He was out jumping Wood on the left wing at one stage.
Billy, you fancy a pint, mate? Well, Alex has his right on. I think we could go for a pint and come back.
It just doesn't make any sense. It literally, he was fine. Absolutely fine. He set people up for goals today, and they didn't score. Yep. He looked a lot better when Wilson came on. What more do you want from the man? He was doing as instructed, and he played all right.
Yeah. Joe Layton, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, well, we'll trade Wood into cash converters for a CD player. Then we'll buy the new CD and play Blade and Racers. Sounds like a good deal to me. Interesting.
I think Chris Wood might get a reprieve next week because of the lack of midfielders. Eddie Howe might be forced into a 4-4-2 and play Wood up front with Wilson.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Andrew says, Danielle, be careful. John Sinclair is listening. Yeah, sticking up for Man United like he does. Frank says, Foxy Bone got 3 assists in 1 game today. Levels. Facebook user says, love Danielle, don't hold back, and well said. can't wait for Adam Pearson's uncentered review after this stinker. Well, everybody will be unhappy, to be honest. Ian says, anyone who wants Eddie out now is deluded. We are building a decent squad and not even a season in yet. Of course. Gary says, well said, Danielle Pett. Del says, forget that result. Go out on a high against Arsenal and Burnley. Enjoy our Premier League status. We can all look forward to an exciting summer. The other half is a Leeds fan, and I'm gutted for them.
I'm gutted for Leeds, you know.
I don't want to see Leeds go down. I like the fact that we've got 2 northern clubs in the Premier League. I like Leeds. I like the fans.
Feels for poor Manny, who I had on my show.
Yeah, lovely bloke. You know, I've got a lot of time for a lot of Leeds fans. Very, very similar to Newcastle fans of Leeds. And the absolute shite that they've been through over the years, they deserve to have a bit of stay in the Premier League. And I really hope they do, because I think it's going to be between them and Burnley. Burnley have to play Villa again and have to play us, to be honest. And, you know, hopefully it comes to the end of the season. I think Everton are going to get out of it. And I have to pay credit where credit's due. You know, they've dug in. You know, they've dug in and got a result at Leicester today.
Could be a positive for us. If Everton stay up, we'll just take 6 points again next season. No bother. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And also it means that Jordan Pickford won't come to us.
Yeah.
Play well today, mind.
He did. He seems to have had. I wonder if he's actually taped some extra arm length onto his arms, because he seems to have a bit more of a big reach these days. Tony says, Willock gives us much more than Longstaff. During the close season, could Alex explain in layman? Yeah, we've seen that, George. You're having a nightmare. Typing twice. Hope Bruno stays patient here. If we don't transform fast enough, we could lose a huge talent. Right now, he's levels above the players around. Look, Bruno's already explained when he signed the plan and what we're going to do moving forward. And I think we have to realise that he's in for the long haul. Ryan says, share is the composure we need in our back line. Peter says, I'm probably done after my last comments. Need for Sean. It's probably progress. I don't know what Sean said. I didn't see it. Well, he's here. Please be clear. There is going to be evolution, not revolution. We will not be competing yet with the top 6. Nigel says, I think when Lascelles ain't on the pitch, Dubravka runs the back 4, so is more confident. That's not a bad shout, actually, to be fair. Kieran says, what has Bruno done with his hair? It doesn't look good. Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to be nuts in a vice. Nuts in a vice. Bottom line, we need, like, literally, our management said every place is up for grabs. And please don't put your nuts in a vice, mate. Oh God, I feel the pain. Frank says, Foxy, Ben Arthur was all right. Truth is, the best winger we've had in the Premier League is Laurent Robert. Robert scored and created more goals on his own than Ginola and ASM put together.
And people used to complain about his attitude and not tracking back and not getting.
Yeah, it was the same discussion, was it not, Billy?
Yeah. And Ginola, same with him.
Ben Arthur's only got 2 more career goals for Newcastle in about similar amount of appearances, 86 versus 90 appearances. Yeah. Pretty much identical output for Ben Arthur.
I'll just come out with a little phrase that I heard on Wednesday night when I was on with the Loaded Lads. Hashtag Frenchness.
I know, I was going to say that.
Right? There you go. Hashtag Frenchness. We'll put it down to that. Right, it is player ratings time.
This is going to be a joy.
This is going to be very interesting. Tony likes Bruno, apparently. Well said, Tony.
He's not wrong.
I'm not sure about the blonde hair, though.
No.
Bit now then about it.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that, actually. Yeah,
I do as well.
Wrong. Interesting. Right, we'll start off with me this time around. So I'll go for Dubravka, and I'm going to give Dubravka a 6. You know, he did make a couple of decent saves in the match as well. But listen, I just think he was flapping a bit today because of who he had in front of him. And that comment that just... Oh, hang on a minute. Stato's mummy here, disappointed for the Cobblers.
Oh.
Yeah, a few of my family live in the Northamptonshire area, and we've... and obviously, Cobblers were the ones who missed out to the Bristol Rovers going up automatically.
Right.
I'm happy. I'm happier about Bristol Rovers going up purely because of Elliot Anderson, because its priority for me is obviously the Toon. But it would have meant I would have got to have seen League One football next year as sort of one of my closer grounds. But they might still go out. There's still playoffs.
Yeah, there is. So Dubravka, I'm being kind, giving him a 6. No, I don't think I am. I'm going with a 6. Right, Billy, you've got right back, who was Emil Kraft.
I thought defensively, I thought he was quite good. I thought he was quite solid. I don't think he was troubled by Grealish much, but he was at fault for the third goal, so I'll give him a 6 also.
Fair enough. Alex, you've got left back, Matt Target.
I want to give him a 7. A few people have mentioned he's had a poor game, but I thought in the context of it, he cleaned up a few times fairly well, and he had a really, really hard job with the big hole that wasn't being filled in by the midfielders because Maxi was standing high, and we keep getting caught at the back post. He's getting no support. People keep doing things at our back post because Target's there. I'm not so sure it's 100% on his shoulders. We just keep being short a man in phases of play because we get drawn out of position through quality of the opposition. I thought he worked really, really hard. He must have been knackered, and he tried a few overlaps as well later on in the game with Maxi. I feel like you've got to give it context. He was getting no left-sided cover. Joe Linton was quiet today. He was just doing it all on his own. And he'd got Sterling and Cancelo running at him. I think all things considered, it could have been a lot worse. I think he did all right for the majority of it.
Yeah. Okay,
so,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Danielle, Dan Burn.
I'll give him a 7. I think I'll give him a 7. I thought he had an okay game. I think that little temper at the end worried us a little bit. Honestly thought he was going to be off. And thank God for Kieran Trippier. I understand the kind of feelings and the emotions got in the way, but yeah, I thought it was all right. But I don't think any of the back four for me were great today. So
I'm going to give Lascelles a 5. I think, defensively, he cleared a few balls, but I think bringing the ball out from defence, rotten again. And I think he genuinely causes confusion in the back four when he's in the team. For whatever reason that is, I don't know why. Ken made a point before about saying, is it because he's captain? Other people think that people can't have a go at him or, things like that. But listen, Kieran Trippier doesn't give a shit about that. He'll hammer him if he needs to. But
I like his header, though. His header and his long balls were better.
Yeah. But 5 for me. Billy, moving on, you can have Sean Longstaff.
Where does his scale start? At the bottom. It started 0. Well, I'll give him a point for the 180 turn he did in the middle of the park. Right. I thought he started okay first 13, 15 minutes. With my possession, he wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
After that, he was a complete passenger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give him a 3.
A 3, yeah. I'd agree with that. In fact, if it was me, I probably would have gone a 2. I thought he was that bad. He was absolutely anonymous in this game.
28 touches.
In his position, shocking.
I mean, Joe Linton, 38.
27 of them were in the first half, though, Alex.
Yeah, it was
unbelievable.
18 out of 22 passes, 28 touches. He's the lowest rated player on the team for most rating sites as well.
There you go.
I'm giving him 3 for that little turn he did, which was quite good. But after that,
fair enough. Joe Linton, Alex.
That's an easy one to slot into a 6. He didn't excel, but he wasn't as bad as the people who play in poor performances. I still think he's just struggling a bit. Statistically, he was okay getting involved. 4 out of 11 duels, though, could do with him winning a few more of them. I think I enjoyed his positioning as well. Like he was getting in the right areas. Like you said earlier, if he was ready to pounce and Wood was there for that header, so he's getting in dangerous areas when it's appropriate. He's definitely improving bits of his game. 25 out of 26 passes as well. So he was pretty tidy when he was involved. But a 6. I didn't do enough to have a 7. We lost 5-0. It's got to be a 6.
Cool. Right, Danielle, you get Mr. Bruno.
I'll give him a 7. I feel quite depressed at the moment, actually. I feel quite deflated at the moment. So I'm just going to give him a 7. Like, I love him. Don't mind his hair.
You don't mind his hair?
Don't mind his hair. I think it's all right. I mean,
Alright,
it's only
okay.
hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't really bother us. But I just think, I don't know, I just feel quite upset now. I just feel quite like, I don't want the season to end like this. I want me to go to Arsenal and get 3 points and hopefully relegate Burnley and not Leeds. So, yeah, I don't like doing this kind of stuff after a loss. I just don't like it. It makes us feel bad. But I'll give Bruno a 7.
Okay. Right, I'm going to go for Chris Wood. And I'm going to give Chris Wood a 1. I have to be honest, he was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. I don't see... There wasn't one thing he did good in the game. Should have scored, or at least got the hell out the way for Joe Linton, who would have put that ball in the back. I don't know what he brought today to the game of football. I really don't. He doesn't jump for a header. He doesn't try and compete. He doesn't make runs. What am I going to score him on? He didn't, it was just dreadful.
2 offsides, 2 fouls.
2 offsides, 2 fouls.
1 shot, which was the gentle dink into Ederson's gloves.
Mm-hmm. Just dreadful.
I can't read your stats because there aren't any. He didn't try any dribbles. He didn't really try anything. He didn't try any key passes or cross. He didn't try anything.
Yep. So he gets a 1 from me. Billy, ASM.
Our most dangerous player on the pitch. I thought he created some chances. A fantastic one for the aforementioned Chris Wood. I thought he was at it the whole 90 minutes.
Yep.
I think he's probably our best player. And if you're giving 7s to other players, then I'm going to have to give him an 8.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. I would have said 7 or an 8. I mean, 8 is. I mean.
And I'd probably given him a 7 with target, but an 8's also fair. I mean,
if we're saying he's the best, if we're saying he's the best player in the team, though,
and the team today, yeah, because other people have got a 7,
that.
so Billy's right. He has to be above them, doesn't he? So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, fair enough. Alex, you get Miggy.
How low can you go?
That's a tough one. I don't like going super low for ratings, but I'm just trying to think about everything carefully.
What did he do in the game?
I mean, apparently he made 4 tackles, but I can't for the life of me remember when they were. And I watched the game very carefully. I got to give him a 5. I mean,
5?
I feel like even that's generous, possibly even a 4. I mean, 4 out of 5 ground duels with 4 tackles, but I don't think they were. I can't remember them being in important areas. I feel like he backed off too much, allowed them to play around that side. It was giving, Kraft was having to overwork because Miggy wasn't helping much defensively. He offered absolutely 0 going forward. He no ideas. Offside the once. Touched the ball 26 times as well, 2 less than Longstaff. And Murphy looked a million times sharper when he came on. Fine, I'll go for a 4. I feel like even a 5 is generous.
Okay, substitutes, Danielle. You can have Callum Wilson.
I shall give him. I mean, I feel unfair rating him because we're saying ASM is was the best player on the pitch today. Where I would give Callum Wilson a 9, just because he's class. And I'm so relieved to see him back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so relieved to see him back in those runs, man. And I just, honestly, even in my darkest minute, like in this game, and I thought, oh, God, it just can't get any worse. And then he got on the ball and he started running. And I thought, oh, he brings joy to my soul. So, for that reason, he was a little candle in the darkness for me today. I'm going to give him a 9.
Jesus,
I don't care, right? I'm just doing it.
That's fine, Alex. Danielle, bring a bit of joy. Bring a bit of...
Honestly, but even though we're getting hammered, right? I just thought this guy is he lights up the room with his runs, and I just thought this is what we've been waiting for. Loved it.
I've never known a player to get a 9 and a 5-0 defeat, but hey ho,
I'm not bothered.
It is your decision. AB says Almiron was a solid 7. I don't know what game you were watching, pal, but no.
Opinions.
Indeed. Kieran Trippier for me. I'm just going to give him a 6. I don't, it's great to see. Mm-hmm.
I'd give him an 8 just for putting the shirt on me.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Hey, good looking.
Oh, my God. She's off on one here. Listen, I'm going with a 6. I think, he didn't do much. He got burnt by Grealish, didn't he? But listen, he's not, once that match fitness returns, he's unstoppable.
Well, yeah, of course he is.
So there you go. Jason says Danielle is class-like. Yeah, man, she's class-like. Oh, she's class. Tony gives Trippier a 10. I'm not sure where he's got that from.
I understand, Tony. I understand, mate.
Billy, Jacob Murphy.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better than anything else I'd done on the right-hand side. How long did he get? 20 minutes, something like that?
He only had 10.
No,
10 minutes.
10, yeah.
3 touches, but they were all pretty
They all nearly created goals, didn't they?
Yeah.
All good touches, so I'll give him a 7.
Right. Coolie ho. Now we have to agree on Edward Howe. So, Alex, you first.
Oh, it's a tough one. I think he was pretty much handcuffed into everything he had to do today, with the exception of does he start Miggy or Murphy? What else? The team picks itself. What else was he going to do? The only gripe I had was possibly when we conceded number 4 with Trippier getting burnt, possibly change it so they didn't do that again, because they did it again. I'm not in the stadium. We don't know if Eddie Howe instructed that. Maybe he did. Maybe the lads didn't listen. I don't know. It might not even be his fault, but I am disappointed that happened twice.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give him a flat. I don't even know. I'll give him a 7. I feel like that's generous though. But what was he meant to do? Everything picked itself today. So his substitutions were dictated by the injuries and the physios and the doctors, and his team picked itself because of the depth. So
you know what I would have done though, Alex? In all seriousness, right? The way Miggy was playing, when he brought Wilson and Trippier on, I would have left Emil Kraft on the pitch and played Trippier higher up just to get balls into the box.
Interesting.
But obviously that was just my
head. I've had playing Trippier at right mid in my head for about 2 weeks. I've not been brave enough to say it because it's a shout.
No, I just thought because we were losing the game. Kraft was doing okay. I didn't see any point in putting Trippier at right back. He's very good offensively as well, and I thought he maybe could have done a job. But listen, he didn't at the end of the day. I thought he might. Anyway, Danielle, what do you give Eddie Howe a 10?
I don't appreciate your sarcasm for a start, right? So I give him 2 ratings. So I'd give him a 7 from the old head, and of course I'd give him a 10 from the heart because I still think he's marvellous.
Right.
And I think we got very lucky considering we were linked with Lampard and all that shenanigans and Gerrard, North Tar.
Yeah. That's fair enough. Dan says if all our midfield subs were injured, why was De Boer not there this time?
Ooh,
Good point. Yep, indeed. Eddie Howe for me, exactly, gets a 7. I'm pretty agree with what's being said. Billy?
Yeah, hamstrung with the injuries to midfield. I think he should have brought Murphy on a lot sooner than what he did. So 7 for me. Yeah.
I think if he had 5 substitutions available as he will next season, I think he would have done. I think he was just trying to save a sub just in case, for whatever reason.
In case something happened, of course.
He always seems to do that, though, doesn't he? He always seems to save a sub for last few minutes or injury time just to waste a bit of time. But obviously today wasn't. The only way we needed to waste time today was because the fact we were getting.
We didn't want to concede anymore.
Yeah,
I think he gets credit points for still going for it though. Even when we were 4 down, we were still going for it. We were still trying to attack.
We were.
So
to be fair,
for positive football, I think you can give him a point for that. So 7 for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Newcastle United fans, of course, they get a 10 for their performance. Now we have special awards to give out. Billy, who does your special award go to this time around?
It's funny you just mentioned them. Actually, we were outclassed on the pitch, but we outclassed their fans all 90 minutes. Could only hear our fans singing. So for the 3,000 odd fans that went down there, they were absolutely superb today. 5 down, still out singing the Man City fans. So they get 100 out of 10 for me. They get my
So
award.
they get the Harley Award for this week.
I get the Harley Award, absolutely. Superb.
Alex?
I'm going to be predictable and give it to ASM today. I've never given it to Maxi, but I'm going to give it to Maxi for, stat-wise, 5 out of 6 dribbles. 2 shots off target were very poor, but he restrained himself and didn't try any shots until sort of an hour in. And 10 out of 15 duels, 2 headers, 2 out of 3 headers as well. He was trying. Mm-hmm. He was trying to win headers, be aggressive. He was fighting for lost balls, lost causes. He wasn't sort of messing about on the ground as much. He drew 3 fouls as well. Better, helps the team a lot more. And it was refreshing to see how much better it was with Wilson. I'm excited to see it against Arsenal, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Danielle, I always look forward to yours because I have no idea who gets yours.
Well, it's nobody in the team or anyone connected to Newcastle United that's getting mine today.
Ooh.
Mine's going to our lovely Julie.
Right.
Our mod, because she was insulted very personally in the chat by what could only be described as a massive whopper this afternoon and handled herself with high levels of class, as always, didn't react to it. And I just want to say to Julie, like, you're an absolute queen. Like, you're a better woman than me, because I would have just torn his head off and eaten for breakfast. But hey ho. So I think shout out to the mods, to Susan, Thomas, and Ches, and of course our lovely Julie for running the show behind the scenes, because they do a great job, and it's not an easy job.
No, it's not. It's not. It's definitely not. Chipper says today's performance was like a korma. Not spicy enough, but these performances will come in time. My special award this week goes to Susan, and she knows why. That will remain between us, but Susan gets my special award. So love you, babe. You get my special award. Right. That is the end of the show. Now, me and Alex will be back tomorrow night at 8:00. We have the transfer show. Alex has been sort of working really, really hard behind the scenes with these names that have come in on the comments. So looking forward to that. Tuesday night is obviously the fan forum. And Ketia. Andrew's asking if he gets an award for a score prediction. Mate, if you ever get that 7-0 right, you'll get an award from all 4 of us, because that will be a glorious, glorious match review if we actually get, Paul deserves a special award for the commentary. Pro job, King Mohammed.
I was half right with my prediction. I said we'll either win 1-0 or we'll get battered 5-0. So I got the other side of it right.
Yeah.
Don't think it's enough for points.
Indeed.
And Ketia has now played enough minutes to qualify for all the statistical websites, so we can have a fresh look at him tomorrow. Interesting.
Oh, there you go. So we will. Derek says Paul's getting soppy. No, I'm not. I'm just stating a fact. She knows why. Can't wait. Tamori, says Stephen.
You guys. I'm going to start singing love songs in a minute.
Hey, that's Mike. You pinched my joke, Trey. How dare you?
I love it.
AB says Zinchenko gets the award today, putting in great performance despite everything happening in the Ukraine. Some things are more important than football. Absolutely. Indeed. Well said, mate.
Well done.
I thought he was absolutely superb today. Keith, thank you for another $10 super chat. This was the type of game that makes you want to turn FIFA on easy and start someone 20-0, like my little boy does.
And me.
Really? He blitzes people. Like, he's 31-0 up at half time, and I'm thinking, why do you actually enjoy doing that? You know, it's crazy.
You sound like my son. That's what he says to me.
Yeah. Caitlin Nixon, nothing wrong with a bit of soppiness, Paul. Andrew says, get a room. Hey, sodges. Right. That is it. Me and Alex will catch you tomorrow night. And by the way, Wednesday night, we've got the Loaded Lads coming on. I think it's going to be about 8:30 the start of that, so gives me time to get sorted and everything like that. So we will have the Loaded Lads on, because obviously we're doing collaboration with them. We should be every Wednesday now at around 8:30. 1 week on this channel, 1 week on theirs.
Hilarious last week.
And it was a really good, funny show last week. Susan has done cartoon characters for them all. They are fantastic.
Can't wait to see Dazzy's.
They are. In fact, should I try and put them on now before we go? So
give Dad's Bobby Charlton.
Oh, listen. I mean, she's incredible. At what she manages to do with these cartoon characters. And I'm trying to think where she sent them. 2 seconds.
I mean, while he's looking for them, a few people shouted me out or called me out negatively for certain inclusions in the transfer show last week. So Monday was Rafael Leao, and I picked him to discuss because I thought he's a good fit for our team, and he's been linked with a move away potentially. And then 2 days later, he was all over the papers, rumoured with a move to us and other people across the Premier League. So, we're not looking at necessarily people because they're rumoured, but yeah, the way we're doing it seems to be working because these players are coming up anyway. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with the way I'm doing it. I think it's pretty accurate.
Unless the press are watching, of course.
Indeed, indeed. Right, let me just see if I can... Yeah, we can bring them all in here. So let's just do this, do that, do that. They'll be with us in just a moment, guys. Just a moment. Thank you for everybody hanging on to see these, by the way. I do appreciate that. It just depends how my computer is quickly at uploading them. But they are really funny. They're superb.
She's so talented, though, isn't she, Susan?
Oh, aye, yeah. But the loaded lads have seen them and already give them the approval. So
I'm surprised you gave them the approval. News. To be fair, especially Daz's, the way he whips you, Paul.
Well, listen, I give me one with Daz, but he's a good lad. Right, we'll start off with Rich. So this is Rich.
Love it.
Yeah, brilliant.
The next one is obviously Chris.
Oh, I love it.
Fantastic. What a life like that, isn't they? They're really good.
Yeah, she's really good at it. And this is Daz.
Oh.
It's unreal. We now have we've got a couple of Pete Davey because she did these original and then she changed it. These are the first ones she did.
Class.
But then she changed it knowing that he's always got a glass in his hand. So
brilliant. that's totally him.
And this one, this is Martin.
Brandy.
This is Martin. And Martin's reply to that last night was, Jesus Christ, I look like a fat Elton John. But obviously that one comes off his when he was on holiday. He had a cap on and everything. So, yeah. So there's the loaded lads. They will be obviously on the thumbnail for Wednesday night show. It's a basically anything goes show talking about Newcastle United, any recent news and stuff like that. And we have a great laugh, and that's what it's all about. So, yeah. Brilliant. Thank you to everybody that's watched tonight. Thank you three, for your company tonight. Thank you to everybody that's super chatted. Very, very, very kind. If you have enjoyed the show, please don't forget to hit the like button. Do hit the subscribe button if you're new, and make sure you do hit that notification bell so you know when we upload or we go live. And also you can obviously become a member of the Toon Review if you hit the join button. And continued support from Geordie Riffs as well. Premium guitar lessons for beginners and children based in the Northeast. Guitar repairs and servicing. They do have their own recording studio. And you get your first guitar lesson completely free of charge if you mention the Toon Review. Find them at geordieriffs.co.uk, on Instagram at Geordie Riffs, and Facebook at Geordie Riffs Official. And also, if you'd like to give the loaded lads a follow, their channel channel link is down in the description. Give it a click and go and subscribe to them. Great bunch of lads, and really deserve more subscribers than they get. They do put a great show on. But obviously in collabs with them now, so you'll see them a lot more on this channel as I'll be going on theirs as well. And hopefully in the summer is going to be a question of sport between the two channels, which is going to be real good fun. Susan's already got somebody in mind to be the host, which I think is a good idea. He's not a Newcastle fan either, so that will keep things nice and separate. So yeah,
John Sinclair.
It's definitely not John Sinclair, guys. But there you go. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Me and Alex will see you 8 p.m. tomorrow night. In the meantime, have a great rest of your Sunday evening. Be kind, take care, and we'll see you soon, guys. Good night.
Away the lads.
Away the lads.